Well, aloha, everyone. I'm Nikki Keohoho, CEO and co-founder of the DSWA and Coach Excellence School. This is a call that we do every month, the same Tuesday of every month, which I believe is the second Tuesday. You can be a part of this. Just, get on and become a person that receives all of our, what do you call it? I'm going to try and mute a couple other people. Anybody that can mute themselves, that will be helpful because we're getting a lot of background noise here. I think we got everybody that time. Great. So this is a call that we do every month, and you want to make sure that you get on our newsletter list or become a member of DSWA. And then of course you can come to the $29 class free as a member, and that's on the 4th or 3rd Thursday of the month. So glad that you're here with us, and we've got some great people that are getting ready to come on. I've got lots of messages that are coming in. Need to jump off at about 45 minutes. That's okay. You will get the recording because you registered here. You will receive that. I love Saskatoon. Thank you, Angie, for joining us. And Martha, you're back. You just were here for another class and you're back again. Good for you. So, and San Clemente, California, thank you so much. There's a lot of good people here with us. So again, if everybody could please mute your line. I'm trying to find the thing that says mute all. There we go. I got it. You can unmute yourself when it's time to talk. For right now, I get to talk, so this is going to be exciting to be with all of you and to get to share some, hopefully some new content or some good reminders for you so that you're really ready to build your business in your way. So this comment about what do I say? This came about because there's a lot of people that are new in the business that are going, oh no, I don't know what to say, so I say nothing. And then there are people that have been in the business a long time and maybe got some bad habits of jumping in and not let me sell you and tell you in the first 30 seconds that I met you. And this will be good for you. Also for leaders that really want to get with what's happening today, with what people are doing to engage people and stop convincing people. And that's really what this is all about. We want to engage people. So the number one question from new people in the business is, what do I say? I don't know what to say. I don't want to be pushy. So I just will watch other people, or I'll let opportunities pass me by. Raise your hand if this is you. You saw someone that you thought, man, they would be good in this business. I'd love to connect with this person. I can tell they would do well. And you've seen them, and then you saw the back of them as they disappeared into the sunset. You didn't say anything. I see some hands up, and some of you are very honest. I really appreciate that about you, because it is true. What happens is we end up with people walking in and out of our lives because either we didn't know what to say or we let our fear get in the way. So let's not have this be a question, what do I say? It's more about, how do I engage people? How do I make people feel I notice them and that they're important? There's some people when they walk into the room and everybody just goes, oh, what a breath of fresh air. Oh, wow, she's so engaging. Just by watching, you want to know that person. And then there are some people when they leave the room, everybody's going, oh man, I'm so glad she's gone. You don't want to be that second person. You want to be the first person, the one that people are happy to see. And we make that challenge walking into networking meetings. In the old day, they just think, oh no, there's another direct seller. She's going to try and sell me. No. We want to be interested in others. And that's really what today is about. So that number one question from new direct sellers is, what do I say? Now, I'm asking you about scripts. And I know many of your companies have pages and pages and pages of scripts, thousands of scripts. They tell you exactly what to say for everything. And you try to read that script. So, I'm going to read a page from something that I just did today that maybe would be how a script would be presented to somebody. Self-coaching is a skill of self-development and performing at your best by asking yourself quality questions that challenge, inspire, guide you, experience continued growth and progress. No, not very engaging. I'm reading. So the idea is with a script, it's an outline. It's a few key points that you might want to share. Now, you can put on a little 3x5 card a few of those bullet points, but the key is to put questions on there that go along with those bullet points. I had a company that said, will you look at our presentation of what we're teaching all of our consultants to do? Now, I'm going to tell you, the word presentation is a giveaway. Presentation means I am telling you, I am giving you information. Write this down. Information does not create transformation. There's information everywhere. So if all I'm doing is presenting you a bunch of information, it doesn't mean that you have heard one word that I've said. So the hint was, it's a presentation. When I got it, it was a bunch of words to say on the back of this flip chart. It wasn't in bullet points, and there were 0 questions in those things to say. So I'm not a big fan of scripts. I think it gives people some options. You've got to make yourself feel comfortable, because when you're comfortable, other people will be comfortable. Now, I got to say something about comfort too, because until you enlarge your comfort zone and become a little bit uncomfortable, everything will be the same. Nothing will be different. You'll be getting the same results you've been getting. So it's going to take you enlarging your comfort zone a little bit and move from reading, like I just did, to engaging that person through having a few bullet points that you might share, but really asking questions. And so one of the first questions, when you sit down with somebody, let's say this is for an interview, you're sitting down for that career conversation. What brought you to meet with me today? You want to know what they're looking for, or what do you know about name of company? When you're sitting down with, or you just met somebody in the store, or tell me about you. Because when you are interested in them, they will find you interesting. It gives you a starting place. So I say you want to do what you're comfortable with, but in the beginning, it's uncomfortable anyway. So we enlarge our comfort zone by taking little baby risks. So that person that you see across the room, you think, man, they'd be so good at our business. And you let them walk away without even making a connection. How many more times are you going to do that? Customers don't just show up on your doorstep. It's us making an effort to meet new people and to follow up with our existing people. So if all you're doing is reading a script, you're probably not making a true connection. And that's the first step in sales, to build rapport, make a connection. And that happens when you are interested in them and when you're not reading a script. So you always lead with the customer in mind. They are most important. What matters to them is most important. Not how smart you are and how much you know about your products and what you know about all the benefits and all the features and all that stuff. It is about them, asking them a question to find out what they're looking for. What makes them want to meet with you today? What do they know about the products now? Or what do you use for a skincare system? Or what do you know about essential oil? Or what matters most to you in cleaning your home? Those are questions that find out, depending on the product, who that person is and what they're looking for. Sometimes we have referrals from other people and we call them up and said, hey, Sally said you'd be a great customer. And so I wanted to talk to you. I sell such and such. First of all, just the words I sell sometimes make people take a step back. And that person, the customer, feels they're being sold. When you say, I teach people. So let's say, for example, you have cleaning products that are very organic, natural type cleaning products. When you say to someone, I teach people to have a clean home that is safe for their entire family. They are curious, how do you do that? But when you say, I sell this product, they say, oh, get ready, run for your life. She's getting ready to sell me. Think about how you lead with people. How are you with connecting? Lead with them. Make everything be about them. That's a very important factor here. So how do we do that? We ask empowering questions. We ask questions that make that person feel that you see them, that make that person feel that you're interested in them. Questions that make the person feel they're the one that are leading the way here. You're following them. You don't need to be in charge. How many of you like to be in charge? I know we have a few of you. I know your behavioral styles. Okay, good. There's a few. We like to be in charge. So that means that we're driving traffic, that we're the traffic directors. Wherever anybody's going is because of me, because I'm in charge. Here's the thing about sales. You're the one not in charge. The customer is. They can buy it from you or not. They can decide to work with you or not. I just told in my last class, so Martha, this is a repeat for you because she was in this class, but it just reminds me of something that I experienced, and you maybe have too. My husband and I were getting ready to buy a new car. And my daughter-in-law said, "Here, take this car and turn it in. You'll get something for it." It was rusty and it was old and not very attractive. And so we drive up to the car dealership and we park outside and we're looking around. Nobody comes out. Nobody comes out. We could see them all in there, blah, 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 talking. Nobody comes out. Anybody want to guess why? We thought we couldn't afford the car because we were driving a clunkalunk. How do you know what that person can and can't afford? Read The Millionaire Next Door, that book, and you'll understand. You sometimes don't even know who those millionaires are. I'm not saying I'm a millionaire, but I'm saying the guys in this book are, and they all are, they unassuming. You would never know. Now, they don't come out. And I said to my husband, I said, I'm not going to wait for them. They lost a sale. Let's go to the next place. So we go to the next place. They don't come out. Then finally, I wave. I thought, oh, that's a hint if you have to wave. And the guy opens the door and he goes, "The used cars are around back. Just go around the corner and you'll see what you like. Come let me know if you find something." In Hawaii, the sun is shining every day. Very rarely do we even have rain. It was a beautiful day. Wouldn't you think they'd want to get out in the sunshine and meet somebody? No, they're around back. Let me know if you find something that you can afford. Okay, so we go to the third dealership. Well, by this time, I was a little done. My husband has a lot of patience, and I generally do too. But I teach sales. So this was really sort of bugging me. So I said to the person, he opened the door, "The used cars are around back. Let me know if you need something." And I said, "Can I ask you a question?" And he goes, "Oh, yeah, sure." I said, "How would you like to sell a car today?" And he kind of stood there and backed up and he goes, "Well, I'd like to sell a car." "Well, how do you know if we're buying or not?" Well, he started to say, "I assumed," when we drove up in that car. That's what he started to say. And then he goes, "Well, would you like to buy a car?" I said, "That's why we're at the lot." And he said, "Oh." And then he didn't know what to say. So I said, "Would you like to know a few questions that you might ask me to find out if I'm ready to buy a car today and what I'm looking for?" And he goes, "Yeah." Now, this is a salesman that's getting paid to sell cars. And I said, "If you asked me what kind of a car are we looking for, then we'd have a chance to tell you what kind of car we're looking for and maybe even have it." He goes, "Oh, okay. What kind of car are you looking for?" And my husband said, "A new car that will hold all of our grandchildren, that has that little movie thing that'll drop down in case the little ones get bored, that has a really good sound system. You know, I want a V8. I want it to seat so many people. I want it to be either black or white and brand new. What do you have?" It was simple. We know what we wanted. We weren't in there trying to have him sell us something. We knew what we wanted. But he almost lost the sale. And he goes, "Well, how's this?" So we walked over, we bought the car, bought the extended warranty, all that stuff. He goes, "Man, this was a good day." I said, "How would you like to have more good days?" And he goes, "Yeah, I'd really like that." So what was different about this interaction than other interactions that you've had with other people? So I was able to give this guy a little teaching, an opportunity while we're sitting there waiting for the guy to drop all the paperwork. Now, is that my job? No. But how many people are just waiting for us to ask, to find out what they're looking for? What matters to you most in your skincare? You know, what are you looking for around aromatherapy? Or what do you know about aromatherapy? You know, what brought you to meet with me today? What brought you to our Zoom call today? Those questions support you to know how to serve that person. To sell is to serve. It's not to serve me to make money. That's not what it's about. If I'm focused on, I got to make this sell, I got to make this sell, I'm probably not asking empowering questions. I'm coming from desperation. Here's a news flash. Desperation sparks hesitation in other people. I want you to get that. Desperation sparks hesitation in other people. So don't be desperate, but don't be afraid to find out what they're looking for so that you can serve them. You can serve them. This means you letting go of that outcome and maybe having an intention to be of service to that person and see what happens. Those empowering questions are critical in order for you to build connection with people and to know and understand them. Listen to them. We call it heart-centered listening, and we're going to talk about that now. Listen to understand. Listen to understand. Don't let your judgment get in there, folks. You cannot judge the book by its cover. So those guys all judged the book. The cover was the car that was all rusted out. They can't afford a car. And you know what? They didn't even look inside the car because we were dressed very nicely. We had on good shoes. We were wearing, my husband wasn't, I had a nice purse. We had Maui Jim sunglasses. I mean, if he took a minute, he would have said, well, God, they must have a little bit of money. They got, no, he didn't. The car told him the story. So it's like someone coming to a skincare class and they have on no makeup and their skin looks pretty rough. Instead of looking at that person and saying, oh, they don't care about their skin. They got a roadmap on your face. This is not good. Instead of looking at them like that, you look at them and say, oh, I have an opportunity here to be of service to this person. I'll bet you money they want to look younger longer. Most people do. This translates to every type of product. Tell me the kinds of products you sell. Anybody want to drop into the chat box? Because I want to make sure I address different ones. Okay, somebody else asked another question while that was on color. So nails, Color Street, skincare, hair care products, beautiful. Who wants to have hair that looks like a wild woman? Not good. Thermomix, so cooking, Avon and Juice Plus, nutritional. Oh, we've got it. Lorraine Lee. I'm so happy to have a Lorraine Lee from Australia. I love your linens. They're absolutely beautiful. And Lorev, so glad to have you back too. I love your essential oils. So we've got some really, hey, who was that said Eva, I guess it's Eva. You needed to tell me that it was a German kitchen appliance. Trust me, I have one and I know a lot about your company and we think it's fabulous. So anyway, you've got, I buy from everybody's product that came up on this thing. I mean, I bought something from everybody's product that's here. So I mean, we all need to buy from each other. In fact, it's good to practice with each other. Don't look at each other as competition. Look at it as collaboration. How can we work together? And jewelry. I love jewelry. This is the thing. Listen to one another. Go to other people's parties because you want to see how they do it. If you know that they're pretty successful in the business, go listen to them. Go on a Zoom. Go on a Facebook Live. Listen to other people. None of us have arrived. Just because you've been in the business 25 years doesn't mean you know everything. And it also doesn't mean that you've adjusted to the times. A lot of people don't realize. Put in big fat letters on your notes. Big fat letters. It's up to us to adjust. It's up to us to adjust. You see, when we adjust to other people, those people have better results and so will we. When we adjust to the times we are current, we are seen as current. I had somebody ask me a couple of weeks ago, how do you stay relevant? What he was really trying to say is you're kind of old. What are you doing here? And I knew that was what he was saying. But how do we stay relevant? We listen. We take classes. We read. We listen to Audible. We came to your convention. We'd be there the whole time because we learn. I'm asking you, how do you stay current and adjust to the current times? Maybe you don't like texting. Too bad. I'm going to tell you what, you better learn how to do it because some people, that's the only way they communicate is with texting. So you're going to lose that person. So back to listening to understand. Listen to the words they use. Listen to their tone. Listen to their pitch. And ask, this is a great question. What really matters to you around whatever the product is? Because some people, they don't even know what matters to them because they don't know anything about it. That's why that question of, What do you know about Norwalk, for example? What do you know about Color Street? By the way, just because someone doesn't use nail polish, this is for our Color Street girl, doesn't mean they're not a customer for you. They're probably a very good customer for you because you save time and it simplifies their life. See, you can't let assumption come into the deal. So listen to understand people. Oh God, my time's going by so fast. Words make a difference. Word choices are important. So, you know, we don't realize sometimes that even the things that we say, example, um, you know, you wouldn't want to do this, would you? Okay, you already planted the seed. I don't want to do it. That's what they heard. There's a difference between contrast speaking and clarity speaking. And I don't have time to go into that whole deal. But clarity is very, very clear. Contrast puts a different words inside someone's head. Like, no problem. And you Aussies, you say that a lot. No problem. What does somebody hear? It's a problem. Versus, I can handle that. I can do that. I can take care of that. So get rid of no problem. No worries. What are you going to do? Worry. So learn about the contrast clarity part. Also learn about words that we use with ourselves and with other people. In selling, who wants to buy from a negative Nelly or a negative Nick? Not very many people. They want someone that's positive in their life. They're looking for people, especially now with COVID. People are searching for positive influence in their life. And you can be that person. When you say, I'm exhausted, but yeah, I have time to talk to you right now. They're thinking, no, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to talk to an exhausted person. You're going to make me exhausted. So whenever you say I am, the words that are behind that follow you. They stick with you like glue. So you better have a positive thing. I'm excited to speak with you. Very different than, oh, I'm exhausted. I've had a horrible day, but yeah, I have a few minutes. Mm-mm. Words make a difference. They either empower or disempower yourself and other people. That's a whole different training and enlightened vocabulary. And I'm going to tell you, I consciously choose my words. I consciously choose my words. And I rarely say something that makes me feel discomfort or not good, because I can tell you it's going to make somebody else feel the same way. So use words that are not too much of selling and telling, and use words that empower people, and watch what happens. And there's thousands of examples of those. As a member of DSWA, you can go in and get right onto that app, and there's hundreds of classes that you can participate in. So let's talk about how this all fits together in sales, the communication model. 7% of every message is the word. That's this much, and you see how important words are. 38% of every message is the voice, the pitch, the tone, the speed. 55% of every message has to do with what you're doing with your body, your physiology. So it'd be me like saying something like, I just love your hair. The words were, I love your hair, but my mouth was shaking my head no, my voice. So you must get yourself in a positive mental state before you go into sales with people. It's not so much what to say. 38% is how you say it. 55% is what you're doing with your body. So when you have texting, you only have 7% of the message that's being received, and it may be being received incorrectly, particularly if you are going through disagreements with people. Pick up the phone at least and talk to that person that can hear more of your intention through your tone and the rest of it. So that's a big factor. People learn in models and metaphors. So in all of our teaching, we use a lot of models. And this is one you can keep and remember for the rest of your life, because it is absolutely true. And yet, they say words, you can't take back your words. My screensaver, I have it here, on my phone, my granddaughter made it for me. And it's a very beautiful little screensaver. It has a heart on it. And it was all wrinkled up when she gave it to me. And she said, and it said right on it, it's gone because it went to something else. But it's something like, think about the words that you use because you cannot replace a wrinkled heart. You can't fix a wrinkled heart. Because sometimes words that we use hurt somebody and we don't even know it. And especially how we say it. So I had somebody say this to me that was trying to sell me something, and I laughed because I thought, holy smokes, guy. He said, well, what part of this don't you understand? It was like I was stupid. And it was like a strategic error on his part. And I said, oh, I totally understand every word that you said. He goes, then what's the matter with you? I mean, I don't know. That's interesting. And I said, actually, nothing is the matter with me. I'm really a very happy person. He goes, then why don't you want to buy this? I said, it's not that I don't want to buy that. I don't want to buy it from you. Well, why don't you want to buy it from me? I said, because how I felt during this conversation, it didn't feel good to me. And, I'm never going to see this guy again. I wasn't rude. I was honest. Maybe nobody would ever have the guts to tell him, maybe. I don't know. But, in the coach school, you'll learn about compassionate feedback. I didn't ask him permission, but he asked the question and I answered it. So sometimes we have moments in our life that could be pivotal for someone. We don't know what we don't know. That's the first stage of learning. I don't know what I don't know. And it happens to a lot of people, and nobody ever had the guts to say anything different. They go through life doing the same old thing. So what, if anything, is holding you back from actually talking to people? Sometimes it's stuff from our childhood. Children are to speak when spoken to. That's an old parent thing. You know, children are not. You're not here to be part of the conversation. You can listen, but that's all you get to do. You don't have anything to contribute. There's stuff that's happened to people yet early on, and they think, why should I bother? Why should I talk? Then we have the other extreme. I don't want to be pushy. I don't want to talk too much. I don't want to do that. So guess what? When you have a fear of being pushy, what's really happening is you're answering for them. The answer is no. Because guess what? They didn't get a chance to answer because you didn't ask. So if something is holding you back, that is a coaching conversation. Go to your leader in your company and say, can you coach me through this? And hopefully they have taken a coaching course and they really know how to coach, because it is important that you get the junk out of the trunk, or as you Aussies, the baggage in the boot. You want to get it out of here. You don't need to be dealing with stuff for the rest of your life that could be dealt with in 5 minutes. So if you've got something holding you back from talking to people, you know what? Most people are happy to meet a new person, particularly in this day and age. People are happy to connect with somebody, even if it's in LinkedIn or Facebook or something else. Be interested, show you are interested in them, and they feel excited that somebody cares. Call people because you care about it. You don't have to sell something every time you call. I just made a phone call to a woman today, and I've known her for many years. She was at an event I did years ago in Florida. And her husband reached out to me on LinkedIn and he said, Liz has been really sick. And I said, no, I didn't know. I wondered what happened. He said, yeah, she's been in the hospital. I said, will you find out if it's okay if I just call or if I need to email her to call? And he went to her and she said, you can call anytime between these hours. And I called her out. She said, Nikki, you just called me to see how I was doing. It's really interesting. Folks, we have good time friends and we have friends that are always your friends. Know who these people are. Good time friends call you when they want something from you, or you can do something for them, or their life is in great shape and your life is in great shape and we're going to celebrate, and that's wonderful. Friends that are friends no matter what are your best friends. They're there forever. Doesn't matter if you're not. There was nothing I needed from her or wanted from her. I just wanted her to know I cared about her. She said, Nikki, it really means a lot to me. She said, very few people call because I'm not in the position I was in and I'm not able to do anything for them. And I thought, how sad that our world has gotten that way. That was a sidebar. But some of these things just happen right away, and I feel like I can learn something from that and share it with all of you. So model these skills as you grow your team. If you started practicing right now, asking those empowering questions, learning how to listen, not for just the words, but the meaning behind the words, being present with people, 100% present. That's the gift you get to be, that you get to have with people. Learning that when you're selling, you're serving. You practice those now. It is going to be so much easier as you grow your team. And all of you leaders, when you model these things for your team, you're teaching them that it's not your charisma that got you there, because that is scary. Some people think they need to be just like you to be successful, that they've got to have all those things you have, and you got all the answers. They got to have that too. Wrong. To be successful in this business, you got to care about people. You've got to be interested in other people. You've got to let go of the outcome and enjoy the journey. Be joy filled and have people just want to be around you. People want to do business with people that they like and that they trust. So you start showing up this way and not letting your fear hold you back. If your fear is holding you back, it'll always hold you back. And you're modeling that for your children. And you'll have kids that are afraid to do things and to take risks, or your nieces and your nephews, or your neighbors. Maybe you're a godparent. Maybe you're not a parent, but you have influence over children. Let them know that it is wonderful to be gracefully assertive. You don't have to be aggressive. You don't have to be in people's face. You can be gracefully assertive and watch what happens. Oh, I'm running late. So I want to tell you, there's a lot of upcoming courses. We have a coach school that's coming up in July. We're now probably going to do a level 1 coach school in June. We have our class that's happening on I think it's the 29th, but I'm not positive, of this month, that is going to be a fabulous class. It's going to take this a lot deeper. It's either $29, or if you're a member, it's free, and it's only $8.95 a month to be a member. And the website, dswa.org/events, go there all the time and look at it. If you want to know about becoming a member, go to dswa.org/membership. Now I want to ask you, what did you discover today? Unmute yourself and you can share, or you can type it into the box. What came up for you today? What did you learn in this class? Somebody had that thought of you're to be seen, not heard. If you go through life in silence, your voice will never be heard, and no one can learn from you. Nobody can see the greatness inside of you when you sit in silence. Thank you for sharing that, because guess what? Our parents did the best they could with what they knew at the time. And maybe that's what their parents taught them. But that's a way to forgive yourself too. I did the best I could under the circumstances at that time. That's a good little thing for us to remember. Guess what though? Your parents only knew what they knew. So now you get to shift whatever that has been for 100 years in your generations. Don't judge or assume, because if we're judging and assuming, that we could be very wrong. Ask questions versus just telling them about my products. Beautiful. Ask questions, find out what they want to know. Be aware of my words. Listen to myself. Watch people's faces when you can see them, because when a word doesn't land, their facial expression or their breathing or their color will change. So look into people's eyes. Don't be looking all over the place. Look into their eyes and see what's going on with them. Sometimes they'll water up because maybe we just hit a nerve with them, a trigger from something from their past. Be aware of your words for yourself and for other people. Health and wellness products. Good. Here's a couple more. Ask questions versus telling. I love selling is serving, because it is. It's a way of serving people, giving them what they want. And if they don't want what you have today, how else can I support you is a great question. Because you know what? Maybe I just made a connection with somebody after 8 years. 8 years. Now, y'all don't want to be waiting for 8 years for everything to happen. I'm not saying that. I just stayed connected with her on LinkedIn. I just would send her a little message every once in a while. And I spend 15 minutes a day. I invest 15 minutes a day on social media. I don't do a ton of stuff because I don't have a whole lot of time. But I use that time wisely, and I respond to people, and I post, and I connect with people. Desperation sparks hesitation. I'm glad that one was a good one for you because you never want to appear desperate. It's like, would you do me a favor? Can I tell you about my products? That's desperation, folks. Mm. Be patient with people and with ourselves. Give yourself time to learn. You don't, I've never had anybody really learn like coaching in one session. It's a process because it's shifting the way you think and the way you speak. Be patient with yourself. Give yourself space and grace to learn and grow and keep learning. Practice being more confident in my conversations. And by the way, practice doesn't make perfect. You're never going to be perfect. You don't need to be perfect because if you're trying to be perfect, everybody else thinks they're not enough. And if you are really close to perfect, they think they can never be you. So they give up before they start. So it's just practice makes progress. Practice makes progress. Practice these skills so that your confidence does increase. My sister has always told me that it's not what I've said, it's how I said it. And I'm always trying to be aware of how I'm saying things. Very important, your voice and your physiology. No judgment in the voice. Love your hair is judgment. Add question to your bullet point scripts. Absolutely. Add questions and put the scripts in bullet points. Don't put them in a dissertation because you'll read. Selling is not in this, the seller is not in charge. Turn it over to their interest. Let it go. Let it be about them. It's up to us to adjust. Boy, you had a lot of good ones. Believe in yourself and all that you do. Know that you are worthy. Thank you, Tracy, for saying that because that holds a lot of people back. Somebody in their life along the way has said something to them about you don't deserve this, and led you to believe that you're not worthy. We are all worthy. And we all have equal opportunity in the world. It's what we do with the opportunity. And most people are interested in you if you're interested in them. Boy, we had a lot of good takeaways from this. Here is how you can connect. And it's so hard for me to do something in a half hour. That's why you want to be on the hour and a half class. You'll really get a whole lot more out of that one this month. Join our community online. So we have Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Be part of our newsletter. You can sign up for that on the homepage or become an active member for $8.95 a month and get my Aloha Friday. Every Friday we get a new video that comes out. You'll love that. It's fun for me to do and Grace too. So join us there. And again, here's something about upcoming courses. So I'm going to stay on for a few minutes. If anybody that really has some limiting beliefs around selling and you just don't know what to do with it, or you're uncomfortable, or you just really, it's partly you don't know what to say and you still aren't real sure what to say, even though we've given you some ideas about questions and being interested in them. Watch people. If in the old days when we'd go to network meetings, people was to run up to everybody and just talk to anybody that, they used to say if they fog up a mirror, there's a customer. Not necessarily. They could have bad breath. The idea is it's just because they're breathing doesn't make them a customer. We want to find people who are interested and to be interesting to them. So when I walk into a networking room, I look around that room and I look for somebody that's interesting, that I'd really like to know. We get to choose people for our customers. We get to choose people to be on their team. I don't want a lot of high maintenance people. I'm not interested in working with people that aren't willing to help themselves. So I have a lot of friends on Facebook. That doesn't mean that they're my friend for life. I have a lot of friends that I want to be friends for life with too. So anybody has a question, comment, thought, you can type it in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself and speak out loud because I want to hear from you. Our time went by so fast. Some of you are brand new. I've never seen you before, and I'm so glad that you're here with us. A lot of things are based on coaching because that we feel is one of the most important skills that anybody can learn. And you can read more about that on events. You'll see coach schools and so on. A lot of things are based on learning to ask questions and listening. It's a common thread through everything that we do because we feel it's the most important skill somebody can learn. to really be good at sales, to really be good at building relationships, to really be good at being a friend to others. Somebody had something to share. Who was that? I'm going to take this down. If y'all got that down, I'm going to stop sharing and we'll be able to see people here.
This is Tracy.
Hi, Tracy. How can I support you?
My thing is, with my team, I'm having an issue with the director because whenever she reaches out to the team, they don't engage with me anymore because they say she is like a little overbearing. So they get disinterested. I get them and they get motivated. They're going, and then she's contacting them, and I don't know she's contacting them, and they just stop responding to me until I can finally get them to open up and let me know what's going on.
Well, thank you, Tracy, for asking that question. So I'm going to say this or ask you, what conversation have you had with your director about this?
I've said that we don't. I'm more people focused, not so much the bottom line, the dollar sign, because I feel like if they feel empowered, if they feel supported, then the sales will come. So
you're more, say that one more time. You're more about the bottom line.
No, she's more about the bottom line. When I do a party, instead of her, I'm excited about the fact that I actually made progress and got sales or whatever. I don't necessarily focus on the amount of sales. I focus on the activity. And the first question she'll ask is, well, how much did you sell?
Okay, so this person has not been to coach school. I can guarantee you that. But sometimes people say things and they don't realize how the receiver feels. So that is like you're afraid to say what it is or your opinion or whatever. I'm certain that that's going on. The thing is, there's a skill in coaching called compassionate feedback. If we don't have a conversation around how you're feeling and what's going on in your thoughts without attacking, it's given with permission. If you don't have that conversation, it's going to keep happening and you're going to keep being frustrated. Everybody understand this. Particularly women sweep things under the carpet and we let it go, we're seething inside and pretty soon we're going to blow a gasket. But that is a common thing with people in general. So instead of sweeping it under the carpet, it's actually having a conversation with that person. So Tracy, because of time, I'm going to share a thought. Ask permission. So I'm going to call her director. So director, I've been feeling some things and I wanted to have a conversation with you. And I've been noticing some things. So may I share something with you that I've noticed over the last 3 months or over the last month? You're asking permission. She may say no. Now you're not speaking on behalf of anybody else. It's only your perspective. I've noticed that when the people that are on my team call you for information, they stop taking my calls. And I'm not, that's just a fact. That's what I've noticed. And I'll take responsibility for my part of that. But I'm going to ask that if you would like to talk to the people on my team, and I'm happy to have you share, that I'm aware of it, that you let me know. That's my request, that you let me know if you're going to be talking to them, so that then I can do a follow-up call saying, I know you had a conversation with my director, and I'd like to know what you learned or what you gathered from that or what you gleaned from that. It's like facing it straight on. Does that make sense to you, Tracy?
Yes.
So if you don't have the conversation, it's not going to go away. And it's a gentle voice. It's given with compassion.
I'm gonna be honest, I've avoided having that conversation because when I've tried previously, she gets defensive. She says she feels attacked and that I'm overlooking all the ways that she helps me or that the reasons that she's making these calls.
So thank you for that, Tracy. And here's a lot of people don't want to have that compassionate feedback conversation because we think it's going to be a confrontation. Most people are used to getting constructive criticism. Think about those two words, constructive criticism. Criticism is not constructive. If it is received as criticism, it will not, you'll go nowhere with it. They either push back and defend themselves, or they act like they're listening and they're going to do nothing with it. So compassionate feedback is a very specific skill. There's 10 steps to it, but the first one is ask permission. It's only given from your perspective. And you can sandwich that. You could start with, I appreciate, Director, all the things that you are doing for myself and for our team. And I have one request. I've noticed that you call them, but I don't know you're calling them, so I have no way to follow up about that conversation. I request that you share with me when you're going to be calling them, so that I can at least step in and they want to take my call. And I also would appreciate feedback that you have to me. If there's something that you believe, example, maybe they don't want to call you. That's what she's going to say. They want to call you. They want to call me because I tell them what to do. Then they say, I appreciate that you shared with me what you are thinking that they may be feeling. I'm going to ask them specifically what they're feeling so that I can rebuild this relationship with some of the people where it's dissipated. Otherwise, Tracy, you're going to be mad at her and resent her. It doesn't get better. It gets worse. Does that make sense to you, Tracy?
Yes, definitely.
You could really, really, really benefit from one of the coach schools. Because I don't know that she knows how to coach, but you can learn, and then they're going to want to be with you. So just think about that. There's one coming up in July, and we're probably going to want to do two. Just go to that event page and you'll see. And it's not because I need to sell you on a coach school. It's because I know it will benefit you. I know it will. Anybody else with a question or comment? Let's see what else has come up here. 8 new messages. Wow. Or ask your team, what communication for me is the most beneficial to you? That's a great question, Martha. Congratulations. That's because you've been to coach school. You know that. Thank you for sharing your insight. A seed planted. You're welcome, Lisa. You have to have the talk so you all can work together, or maybe write her a letter. Sometimes, though, that's only 38% of the message. It can be a problem in the letter. So if you can have the talk, that's always going to be the best. How about asking your director some questions like, what ideas do you have where we can have a mutual communication with my team? And that's another good idea. So how can we have a mutual communication with the team? I have grandkids here tonight, so I got to leave. That's all right. Thank you, and enjoy your grandkids. So anyway, we've got a lot of different questions here that you can learn from. Believe in yourself and all that you do. Know your worth. That I loved whoever said that. Who was that? That was a beautiful thing to say. So anybody else with a question, comment, or thought, or something you'd like to be coached around that may be still uncomfortable for you. And while you're thinking about doing that and unmuting yourself, I want you to meet someone. If you bring up the view that is the gallery view, you'll see a lot of people on this. I don't know if she just had to leave. I was going to introduce you to Chris. Chris Lightfield, are you still here? I don't see you now. You maybe had to leave. She did, it looks like. Oh no, she's there. Christine, can you unmute yourself? There you go.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted you all to meet Chris Lightfield. She comes to all of our classes. Chris is overseeing and the director of our insurance program for DSWA, and she is very good at finding out what you need. She doesn't sell you something, she finds out what you need. Chris, if you put your email address in the box there, you know,
Here in the chat box.
in the chat box. So if somebody wants to contact you, they can, but I've known Chris for 30 years, and it's like pretty nice that we have that. So at the bottom of the screen, there's something that says chat. Click on that, and you'll be able to put it right in there and send it to everyone if you would, please, and they can take it if they want to. And in the meantime, it's just Chris at KRIS@ushealth1.com.
No, let's see. I just left I can't believe it. I just went blank. I think it's K Lightfield.
Yes, it is K Lightfield. You're right, K Lightfield at US Health One. Yeah. Anyway, so anybody else with a question, comment, or you want to unmute yourself, please do so. I'm going to stay for a few more minutes, but every time on these classes, people just stay for a long time, which is kind of interesting because they say, Nikki, it's a half-hour class. I know that, but if I get to do something to make a difference for somebody, I really want to do it. So who else have we got that has something?
I have a question.
Who was that?
Liz Checatano.
Hi, Liz. Glad that you're here. I see you.
I have a question. Sometimes I get a little nervous or confused and I get like tongue tied. So it's kind of like a dead stop and then it's like a fumble.
So here's the thing. People expect others to take time to pause. That precious pause, and we also call it heaven's gap, because in that precious pause, it gives that person time to think. So if you have a standard question to start off when you're talking with someone, what brought you to meet with me today? Or what do you know about the name of your company? You can be also be thinking, but the big thing is to listen to what they say. Your question will come to you based on what they say. You follow the thread. They lead whatever they say, you stay with that, follow that thread with them. So, and they understand, nobody expects you to go boom, 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 like with this, if you're reading a presentation, maybe you can do that. But if you're really connecting with people, there's something called elevated thinking. And elevated thinking is when that person is absorbing what you've said. A lot of times their eyes, and they'll search the different quadrants of the brain, and then they'll come back. Seems like 10 minutes. It might be 10 seconds. I promise you, there's nobody going, would you spit it out, honey? They're not thinking that. You're the only one that's feeling uncomfortable. So my question for you is, how can you be comfortable with a pause to give yourself grace to think of the next question?
Okay. I'd have to
Really?
take a deep breath and go a little slower.
That's a beautiful thing. You get oxygen into your brain. Take a deep breath. You don't want to go, like that at the person, but just, breath. And they don't know, and don't pass out. That's not a good sign either. Okay, anyone else have a question or a comment? Thank you, Elizabeth and Liz for being open.
Thank
to
you.
that. You're welcome. Anybody else? You've got so many great people. I now am getting to know so many new names and people that I've seen before. Rebecca, your baby is just beautiful. Thank you for showing us that. Anyone else? Okay, well, speak up or forever hold your peace. My mother used to say that. There's ways to get kids to practice. My parents, were really smart people, not by book learning. Like my dad had an 8th grade education. He's probably the smartest person I've ever known. But he had really brilliant things that he would do. Like at dinner, when we came in and we'd ate at a great big table, and he'd say every day, what did you learn in school today? Or what did you learn about life today? He'd ask that question, and we'd go around the room, around the table, and there was big, a herd of us. And so we got to, and we learned from each other. So what do you mean? We'd ask a question about what they learned. It taught us to talk and to communicate. How can you get in your own household? My husband and I, when we go to dinner, we'll ask a question. Listen, when we were driving down the freeway, when I was traveling so much, he drove, because I'm not that good of a driver. You don't want to go with me. I'm just saying I'll probably be lost and it's not good. Anyway, so he's a great driver. Go with him. And he's driving down the freeway and I'm working. I have my computer on my laptop. I have a plug-in and I've got my phone and he takes messages on the other phones. We're working. When we stopped, we agreed no phones and no computer goes in for that lunch. And we go in there and I say, so what did you see? What was your favorite part of the landscape? Because I didn't say anything. He saw it all. I mean, I was shocked when he said in South Dakota, the Corn Palace. I loved the Corn Palace. He went there actually one day when I was working. He loved the Corn Palace. I mean, would I be interested in the Corn Palace? Probably not. And he's been to every sports memorabilia things and Louisville batter and all this stuff. And he talks. And my job is to listen and I ask a question. And then he'll say, what did you do today? What did you feel like you accomplished? What was your best call? He'll ask and then I share with him. It keeps us talking. Most people our age, when they go to dinner, they bring out the newspaper or their phone and they don't talk to each other. You sit there in silence. So I was doing this event in the Philippines. By the way, they're all very little people. They come up about boob height and it's not comfortable. I'm just saying. Anyway, they all want to take your picture. They have millions of pictures. So in this event, when I was doing this, I said to him, I was talking about listening to each other. And I said, my husband and I go to dinner and we listen to each other. We ask a question, we listen to each other. Well, that day he was supposed to fly into the Philippines and the plane turned around because somebody got sick. And so he didn't come in till that night. And he was supposed to have arrived in the morning. He didn't come in at night. So we went to dinner and we're sitting down there and we're talking to each other. And I said, so what happened to that person? I didn't know this. This was a glass wall, but you couldn't see out. You could only see in. There was all these nose prints on that window the next day. They were all sitting there with their noses on the window, watching us talk. And the next day, people came up to me and said, you really do talk to each other. We saw it. We saw it? Yeah, we were all outside the window watching you. I thought, boy, you better be careful with what you say because you never know when you're on camera and they're watching. But it is important. Ask a question, listen. Don't cut them off. Don't tell them what you did better that day. That's a big thing. We're starting a new class that's going to be on Coach Excellence School for couples. And I'm so excited about that because it's really how to communicate with whoops, I just about whipped my ear off. Really about how to communicate with each other. It is going to be a great class. I'm so excited for that. We just have our first little preview actually tonight with one group of people. So we'll see what happens. Well, I guess if nobody has anything else to share, you guys just could listen to me blab on. I hope that you'll attend something that we do. I hope you'll come back each month to this free class. And thank you. In Hawaii, the word is mahalo. Mahalo means thank you. And I want to say mahalo to all of you for being here and being a part of us. Have a blessed day and a blessed week. And we hope we see you on Thursday. Take care.